Well, we're speaking here today with Gay Mitchell, the MEP for Dublin constituency. Gay, thank you very much for agreeing to participate in Politics Talk. Gay, I suppose I wanted to start perhaps by asking you a couple of questions about the work you're engaged in at the moment. And first of all, could you explain to me what committees you're involved in and what your priorities are for your own term in office?
Well, when I went to the Parliament, I chose to go on the Development Committee rather than the Foreign Affairs Committee because 11 million children a year are losing their lives in the developing world. Because by 2050, 2 billion more people will be born into the world, 90% of those into what is now the developing world. If you allow what's happening there to continue to happen, it will be the cause of great conflagration. So I've made the developing world my first priority in terms of external issues. So I had to balance that then by having one internal interest, and I went on the Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee, and I am the only Irish member on the Special Committee on the Economic Crisis. That's of particular importance to us because so many people are employed, not just in Ireland, but particularly in Dublin, in the financial services sector. So I have one priority external, one priority internal, but I also try to cover the general interests of the Parliament through various questions and participating in working groups.
Very good. And I suppose in terms of asserting Ireland's voice in the Parliament, do you feel that we might be in any way underrepresented by virtue of the fact that we don't have any Irish MEPs on as committee chairpersons or leaders of any of the political groupings at present?
No, the way it works is that there's a D'Hondt system, and people get their opportunities. We have a disproportionate say in Parliament because we have 12 MEPs, which is, it takes something like 340,000 people to elect an Irish MEP, about 800,000 to elect a German MEP. We have a commissioner on the same basis as everybody else. Indeed, we have the Secretary General of the Commission, a minister at the Council of Ministers on the same basis as Germany and France. You know, we have to realise we can't have everything.
Sure.
But in my case, I am coordinator on the Development Committee of Parliament. That is the leader, or joint leader as it happens, of the biggest group on that committee. And I'm also the coordinator of the group to the ACP EU Assembly. But that's a very strong role to have, and in some ways more important than a committee chairmanship, because on that particular agenda I can set the agenda for our group, which is the biggest group. So I'm very happy with our lot. I think we've done very well.
Okay. And I suppose in the context then of the recent approval of Lisbon, it's to the forefront of a lot of Irish people's minds about what sort of impact this is going to have on the European Parliament, and when it comes to democratising the Union, how do you see the impact of the Lisbon Treaty affecting the role of the Parliament going forward?
Well, it's going to give us more co-decision powers with the Council of Ministers. Indeed, when they act as legislators, they're going to have to carry out their business in public, which means not only will the public know what they are thinking, but we will know as well. In relation to the budget, the Parliament will now jointly decide the budget with the Council of Ministers. So, for example, in the agricultural area, it won't be enough for farmers to camp outside the door of the Council of Ministers late at night. They'll have to persuade Parliament as well. We're going to have a permanent external representative who will be both in the Commission as a Vice President and in the Council of Ministers. Because she will be in both, she will be more accountable to Parliament. And we're going to have a more permanent head of the European Council who, again, we will be able to bring to account more in the Parliament for the objectives set by the European Council and how these are being achieved.